Okay, welcome everyone. I am Baron Baptiste, and welcome to my MS Yoga Transformations. So this practice, I want to invite you to take care of yourself, to pace yourself. Let your body be your guide. One thing we learn in yoga practice is that each day is unique, each day is distinct. And so I want you in the practice to take care of yourself, listen to your body, and hold out a bigger possibility for yourself, a bigger potential. As you're practicing in each pose, in each movement, have an attitude of compassion, kindness with yourself, but also challenging yourself. What's possible if you were to, stay at your growing edge? I'll guide you, instruct you how to modify the poses, but really follow your own common sense in each movement. Again, take care of yourself. The other thing I want to bring into here is making a connection, connecting to your breathing, connect to your breath, the sound of your breath, a flow of breath. Bring that in, what's next for you in your growing edge. So let's get started and come into child's pose. And bring your knees wide toward the outer edges of your mat. Bring your big toes together so they're touching. Extend your arms forward with your hands about shoulder width distance. And really here, you just want to relax. Put your whole life on a shelf. This is a wonderful opportunity to let go of everything and really land here on your own yoga mat. An opportunity to get centered, an opportunity to connect, make the connection to some inner peace, and to move some energy, move some stress and old energy out of your body and create a wonderful new way of being. So now let's come onto our hands and knees. So come onto your hands and knees with your hands at shoulder width distance apart, and take a moment, look at your hands, really see and then feel the connection of every knuckle of your hand pressing the earth. Fan your fingers, almost like sunshine coming right through your hands into the floor. And then look at your legs for a moment and bring your knees so they're hip width distance apart only. Your knees and your ankles at hip width. Then tuck your toes under. And take a deep breath in here and lift your tailbone up to the sky. Lift your tailbone to the sky and come into downward facing dog. And let's start breathing here. Now walk your feet back a little bit more than they are right now. So you're going to open up your base, and this creates more freedom. So as you bring your hands and feet away from each other, you might experience less strength or less stability, but more freedom. So you find a stance here, a space between your hands and feet that works for you, that you feel both strong, but also kind of free and open. Now lift both heels to the sky. This is a wonderful opportunity to release your Achilles tendons, the backs of the ankles, backs of the legs. Now bring your heels down toward the floor. Good. Now do that once more. Heels up to the sky. Keep pressing your hands flat, and then bringing your heels down to the floor. Now take your right leg up to the sky, right leg up, and then set your eyes to one point. So you want to relax your eyes, focus your eyes to one spot, and make this a meditation or relaxation exercise in action. Bring your shoulders over your hands now to a high plank position, like a high push-up. Keep your right leg up if you can. If you need to bring your left knee down, you could do that. And then press back to downward facing dog. And bring your right foot down and your left leg up to the sky. That's it. And John, right there, just bring your left leg up. That's perfect. Right there, good. And breathing with your arms straight, and then high plank just for a moment, shoulders over your wrists, and then downward dog again. And then walk your feet now to the front of your mat. Walk your feet up to your hands, your feet apart at hip width. That's good. And if you kind of stumble, you just go with the flow and you bend your knees again and bow down. Let the weight of your head drop down and come into a deep breathing flow. Deep breathing, deep breathing. Then drop your hands to the floor and toe heel your feet together. And then bring your hands to your hips. Catch your hips with your hands, and you come up to standing. Just rise and shine. If you're dizzy at all, you just come down to child's pose, okay? You never fight dizziness or anything. If you need to just drop down to your knees or, rest, do that. Now set your eyes, drop your arms here, and look up to the sky and reach your arms up to the sky. Take a deep breath in and bring your hands to your chest center. Fold your hands and then fold all the way forward to your mat. Forward bending, and then lifting halfway up. Breathe in, and then you'll step to your high plank position, the high push-up. And then we'll lower slowly together toward the floor. Bring your hands under your shoulders, and then lie down. And then you'll come to cobra pose. You'll just scoop halfway up, just until your belly button comes off of the floor. And you want your hands flat again into the floor. And you want to bring your hands just in line with your shoulders. I'd bring your hands further back, Julie, more in line with your shoulders. Bring your hands a little further back and wider, though, a little wider. Like that, perfect. And you just look forward, breathe in, and then downward dog pose, downward dog. So really an important thing here, breathing, and then also not trying hard, like not trying to do every pose perfectly, not struggling. So you want to bring an attitude of, rather than trying hard, try easy. Can you create a little more flow? And especially if these movements are challenging for you, can you bring a little more ease, a little more relaxation in the action? So now come to high plank again, high plank. And then you'll lower slowly. You could take your knees to the floor if you need to. You take your knees in, but lie down. And then cobra again. So you'll just scoop your chest halfway up. Really take your shoulders back, shoulders to your back, chest opening a little higher, and then downward dog. Tuck your toes, roll over to downward facing dog, and deep breathing, deep breathing. We'll do once more. Come to high plank position. This time take your knees to the ground, and then bring your chest down slowly to the floor, and you'll scoop up to cobra. Come up to cobra. Coming up, maybe straightening your arms a little bit more toward an upward dog. You could press the feet down to lift the knees upward, legs and thighs upward, and then downward facing dog. You go. Good. Good work. Deep, deep breathing. Now taking a deep breath out here and step your right foot forward between your hands. And then stay here for a moment and look to your back foot and spin your back heel down to the floor. And you want it flat. So lift your hips so that the outer edge of your back foot is into the floor. The little toe, the baby toe, edge of your back foot into the floor. Then come up with your chest to warrior one pose. The first warrior. Good. Reach your arms up to the sky for a moment here. And then bring your hands to your hips here. And manually, with your hands, take your elbows back to shoulder width. Take your elbows back and turn your hips a little bit. So the right hip back, left hip forward, then dip down a little bit deeper. Right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. Good. Breathing, breathing. Leave everything, but now take your arms up to the sky. And cross your thumbs, as if you're going to pull your thumbs out of their hands. The thumbs are wrestling, a tug of war. Look up if you can. So this is more balance, requiring balance, but do what you can here, but draw up and maybe a little bit back. Breathe in, and downward facing dog pose. Downward dog, you go. Right leg back. Okay, really drop your head. Let go of everything. Hold on to nothing. Let this be your moment of relaxation, but in action here. Now walk your hands to your feet. Bring your hands back to your feet. Keep your feet apart. Bend your knees into ragdoll. So a simple forward bend, but you really want to make this your own. Like take ownership. Feel the backs of your legs. Feel the sensation. Make that connection to your body, what you're experiencing, and work with what's here. So if it's more comfortable for you to bend the knees, do that. If you feel like you can take it a little bit further, begin straightening, and your breathing is always present, just a flow of breath into and out of your lungs. So you're just really moving breath through your whole body. Now walk your hands toward the front of your mat to downward dog pose. Again, And just stretch out. Rinse out your shoulders here, the upper back here. Can you take your arms, your shoulders toward the sky a little bit? Then walk your feet forward toward the front of your mat to your hands and your feet apart. And then again, just bow down. And by bending the knees a little bit, you actually get more of a release through the hamstring. So a little bend at the knees, you'll start feeling the whole length of the hamstring. You're not forcing anything here, not forcing, but you're just working with whatever you are experiencing, working with it, being compassionate, not judgmental. Then toe heel your feet together. So bring your feet together, make the legs powerful, start pressing the legs down, and bring your hands up to your hips. So you hold your hips, pull your chest forward into a straight spine, and come up to standing. That's great, awesome, good. Drop your arms and just stand in your own inner power, a sense of strength, a body confidence, coming from an inner yes here. Now let's take a deep breath out and feel the breath move right down through the soles of your feet, up through the feet to the crown of the head again. Breathe out again. And then reach your arms to the sky. You can look up, it's just stretching, getting tall, pulling out the hidden inches, and then bow forward. Bring your hands through your heart center to the floor. Bend the knees as you need to, and lift halfway up here. Breathe in. A long neck, long spine. Step to a high push-up position, high plank. And then breathe here. Bring your knees to the floor here together. Knees to the floor. Let the upper back relax. You're not forcing, not trying hard, but really allowing the upper back to melt. Then low push-ups. You'll bring your pelvis to the floor, and then you'll come into cobra pose. So you'll take your chest up off of the floor. Chest up. And pulling your shoulders back. And you can really grip your mat with your fingers, like scratching, this is cobra, but it's also called a dog pose. So you're like a dog has claws, you're scratching the mat, taking your shoulders back, spine up, breathe in, and then downward facing dog. You go, roll over your toes, and just take some deep breaths here. Deep breathing, take a deep breath in, and exhale out, deep breath out. Look forward and walk your feet to your hands. Walk forward, bring your feet together at the front of your mat. Breathe in and lift halfway up through the spine, halfway up, straight spine. And then bow all the way down. Fold down, press your legs down powerfully and reach up to the sky. Come all the way up. If you ever get dizzy, you can just come back to child's pose and then bow forward, exhale. Fold forward and lift halfway up. Breathe in and fold all the way down again. Breathe out. Go all the way up to the sky. Breathe in. And now bring your hands to your chest center and fold forward. Exhale. Good. We'll always move through our center like this. And then halfway up, breathe in. So bend your knees as you need to, and actually bring your hands to your shin bones here. Straighten your spine. Lift your chest, Missy, chest forward. Bend your knees a little bit, Missy. And then high plank position. High plank, the high push-up. Low push-ups. You could take your knees down if you need to, and then lie down here, and then cobra pose. You'll scoop up. Shoulders back. You can start straightening through the arms if this feels good to you. And then downward facing dog pose. You go. Nice. Take deep breaths here. Again, shake your head yes or no. And just check in, with your own energy, what's going on in this moment. Do you need to back off? Can you bring a little more intensity, a little more edge? But you just want to play with, work with what's really actually going on for you in your own body. Now take a deep breath out, and again, walk to your hands. And lift halfway up, breathing in. So again, maybe you bring your hands to your shins, and knees a little bit soft, just straight legs. You want straight legs right there. And then bow all the way down. Good. Press your legs down and come reaching up to the sky, straight spine. And bring your hands to your chest center and bow forward. And lift halfway up, breathe in. And high plank position to low plank position to cobra pose. You'll lie down, you'll scoop up to cobra, and you'll press to downward dog, pressing back. Now look to your right thumb. Look to your right thumb and take your right foot and step it right next to your right thumb. And then stay here for a moment, breathing. Look to your back foot. Spin your back heel down and press the outer edge of your back foot down into the earth. Good. Bring your front knee over the ankle. Good. Then bring your hands to your hips. Hold your hips with a straight spine, come up to standing. Now with your hands, we'll firstly take your elbows to shoulder width, bring your hands behind you, and then manually turn your right hip back, left hip forward, back foot flat, then take your arms up to the sky. Breathing here. Cross your thumbs above your head, look up, and just draw the spine up, uproot the spine to go a little bit back. So challenging your balance with wisdom, and then hands to your heart center, hands to the floor, and then come to downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath out, look to your left thumb, step your left foot forward, and hold here for a moment. You can come on to 10 fingertips if that works for you. Spin your back heel flat, look at your feet for a moment, back foot flat, heel down. The front knee over the ankle. Now take your hands to your hips. Catch your hips. And with a straight spine, come all the way up. Stack your chest over your pelvis. Take a moment, center your pelvis. Left hip back, right hip forward. Left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. Now take your arms up to the sky. And reach up very high. Looking forward. Just look forward at the horizon. Bring your hands to your chest. And then we're going to twist. So some of you may want to bring your back knee to the floor and just make it easier. But begin twisting the left arm to the outside of the front leg. Taking your lower shoulder forward, your upper shoulder back, deep breathing. Now straighten your arms. Bring your lower hand down to your block. So do whatever you need to do. Catch your block. Bring your block to the inside. Is easier, or you could take it to the outside just for a more intensive kind of stretch, but lift your chest here, fan your fingers so the arms are pressing down and up. Good. Take your lower shoulder forward, upper shoulder back, so you're rinsing, twisting, a hint of a smile, always happy in the pose, and then downward dog pose. Hands down, set your block aside, downward facing dog. Take a deep, deep breath in here. Big breath in and a sigh. Ha, ha. And again, a deep breath in. And let's hear the sigh. Ha, ha. Once more, a full breath in and a breath out. Look to your left thumb and step your left foot up to your left thumb. Again, for crescent lunge. Back heel up. Catch your hips with your hands. Shoulders to your back, and come up to standing with a nice line, neutral line in your spine. Bring your hands to your chest center. Lift your arms up to the sky. Cross your thumbs. Take your arms back. Take your shoulders back. Look forwards. Your neck is really at ease. You can look forward, John. Just look forward. Yeah, no need to look up and strain. Just breathing here, bringing your hands to your chest. Now for twisting, again, maybe bring your back knee down if that works for you better, and then twist your right arm to the outside of your front thigh. Use a block here to now straighten the arms. Right hand down, left arm to the sky. You can allow your pelvis to just kind of sink forward a bit. Bring your pelvis forward, Kendall. Bring your pelvis forward, Julie. Lower shoulder forward, upper shoulder back, and then downward dog you go. Whoa, good work. Not easy, but this is a wonderful way of just integrating the whole body into some new strength, into, rinsing the body, removing some old stress. Now take a deep breath out. Walk your feet forward toward the front of your mat, walking forward with your feet together. Breathe out, push your legs down powerfully, catch your hips with your hands, and you come up to standing. Straight spine up to mountain pose. Awesome. Looking at the horizon. Now we're going into balancing. And so the eyes, the ears, like opening your ears is hearing all the sounds of this space. You can just let the arms relax, just holding on to no tension. And then bring your left hand to your left hip. And you want to take the left shoulder back. Take the shoulder back, and now shift the weight into your left leg and begin to lift the right knee. And again, set your eyes. You'll notice your mind has a lot to do with the balance. By focusing your attention, you'll see, oh, there's immediately a little more balance here. Hug the standing leg muscles into the bones, like hug in. Now take your leg to the right side of the room, and you can use a wall. That's awesome, Julie. You could use a wall. You could use a chair to support your balance. Then take your leg forward and lift your knee a little bit higher toward your chest. Challenge yourself a little bit, a happy challenge with a hint of a smile. Awesome. And relax down. Drop your arms. Set your eyes. Just feel all the love in your legs right now, the breath, the flow, the circulation. Now bringing your right hand to your right hip. Take your right shoulder back, actively taking the right shoulder back, shifting the weight into your right foot and leg. Now begin to lift the left knee. So steady, stability. You can hold the knee and lift the leg, not leaning backward, not leaning forward, but just on a nice neutral line. Again, you could use a prop, a wall, a chair for balance if you need this. Bring your leg to the left and pause, breathing. Can you just keep a natural flow of breath? And it's awesome. If you fall out of the pose, you just very kindly, gently bring yourself right back up into the balance. Take your leg forward. Lift the knee upward a bit. A little extra challenge, a little boost, a bonus challenge, and then bring both feet down and you relax. Good. Now, taking both arms back, focus your attention at one spot, a hint of a smile. So, the practice as we stay light, we actually get more energy. And sometimes life can be so serious, and our yoga practice is a reminder to just, kind of lighten up. And so bring an energy here of just from an inner yes, a sense of just being lightness, into your practice here as we go into airplane pose. So you'll simply shift the weight into your left leg and take your right leg back behind you. You'll bring your chest forward, and you're not wanting to round your back here. So as you are just standing up with a straight spine, keep that nice line through the spine here, and you just see what you see. It's called airplane. Fasten your emotional seatbelt. If you hit a little turbulence, and that's natural, normal to waver a bit, but stay in your stability. Then bring your right foot to your left foot again, and release your arms to standing, to your mountain pose. And again, you're setting your eyes, the focus, the breath flow here. Come from an inner yes, an altitude of attitude, an attitude that gives you a sense of inner power, inner peace, bigger possibility. Then simple movement, airplane to the other side. You'll shift the weight into your right leg and take your left leg back. And you'll come forward with your chest. Maybe you keep your eyes forward to a point. You can look at the earth, the floor, but find some point, a stability with your vision, with your muscles. You're hugging the leg muscles into the bones, and then bring your feet together. Come up to standing. Take a deep, deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Ha, ha. So it's just peeling the layers of an onion. Each time we take a pose, we're just peeling away the layer. You feel stress leaving. Now, simple pose, tree. Again, bring your left hand to your left hip. Take your shoulder back. Lift your right foot and catch your right ankle if you can. Again, you could use a wall, you could use a chair here, balance here, and bring your hands to your heart center. Fold your hands at your heart. Now, if you're feeling the balance is exceptionally challenging, you could bring your upper foot lower down on the leg. So you could bring your toes toward the floor. If you need to simplify, interlace your fingers and take your arms up to the sky. Take your arms up to the sky. That's awesome, Julie. Just like that. And look forward. Just look forward. Keep your breathing natural. It's a wonderful way of just cultivating your balance, developing your balance. And then as you reach up, catch a star if you want to look up to really challenge it. And then bring that star right down into your body and rest down. Both feet to the mat. Just centering, feeling your feet. And then shift the weight into your right leg, your right foot. Bring your left foot up to the inner right thigh. And then again, if you need a wall, or you could bring your lower toes to the floor, do that. Keep your eyes at the horizon. Fold your hands at the center of your chest. And very, very deep breathing here. Just make this a balancing pose. Bring your heel up to the inner shin, just like that. Yeah, you're on your toes. So you just kind of create your own balance. Bring the heel into that shin. Palms facing up if you can. And just straightening up, reaching up, pulling up the hidden inches. If you want to look up for a moment, really challenge it. Okay, and catch that star and bring it down. And both feet down. Now let's turn to the right side. Face the right side of the room with your feet together. Take some deep breaths here. And then just reach down and you'll catch your block. Find your block. And we're going to step out, your right leg out for triangle. Take a big step out. And then for a moment here, bring your arms out. And check that your feet are underneath your hands. So you'll know if you're wide enough. If you sense that your feet are underneath your hands, then open your right foot so it's straight. Slide your left heel back a little bit. Then press your pelvis to the back wall, tailbone of the back wall, and bring your hand down, block down, so your hand right on top of the block. Take your upper arm, left arm to the sky. Good. And then you want to take your tailbone in, your pelvis in, take your upper shoulder back, lower shoulder forward, and hug your leg muscles in. Good. Deep, deep breathing. Deep, deep breathing. And bring the block a little bit more to the outside. Good. Push the lower arm down, reach up. Good. Action through your hand. And then come up to standing. Good. All the way up. Okay. Bring the block with you. Catch your block. And you're going to reverse your feet, and we'll just take it to the other side. So your left foot is open. And give yourself more space, everyone. So as you're standing up, gauge, are your feet underneath your hands? Good. Tilt your pelvis to the back wall. And you'll bring your hand, lower hand, on top of the block. And you want a sense of ascension through your chest, ascending, lifting, elevating the chest, scooping your tailbone in. Just a nice expansion. You can lean back a little bit, twisting a little bit. Upper body, upper shoulder back, lower shoulder forward, upper hand on fire, and then come up to standing. Good work. Turn both feet in. Catch your hips with your hands. Your feet, again, are parallel, so just check in with your feet. Heels slide out, some of you. Just keep taking your heels out until your feet are parallel. You can open your heels out a little bit more. And then bend the knees here a little bit. Breathe in. And then you'll bend forward from your pelvis. You have hinges at your hips. Bend forward and bring your hands down between your feet. And you want your hands at shoulder width distance apart. And you can drop your head down. This is a forward bend. And so you want your upper body, your torso completely relaxed, just hanging, dangling. The legs, though, really active. So you kind of fire up, engage the quadriceps. You have an opportunity to really stretch the backs of the legs. The breathing is deep and free. Breathing deep and free. Sway your hips forward a little bit. Soften your knees a little. And then catch your hips here. Bring your hands to your hips. Breathe out. Spine straight up to standing, coming all the way up. Look to the front of the room and step to the front of your mat. Good. Take a deep breath out. Drop your arms. Take your hands to your chest center. Reach your arms up and look up to the sky. Breathe in and bring your hands through your chest and fold forward all the way down. And lift halfway up, breathing in. Come to high plank position, high plank. Breathe here, breathing here. Deep breathing here. If you need to take your knees down, do that. That's good, Kendall. Then lower down slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2. Lie down and stay with me here. Bring your hands back just a little bit. Slide them toward the back, maybe 2 inches back, and then come to cobra. You'll lift your chest up. So your shoulders just come up to elbow level, not lifting too high. Now breathe out. On the in-breath, take your right leg up. Lift your right leg up to the sky and pause here. And be mindful, not jamming your chin up or creating stress through your neck. You could even lead with the crown of the head or look slightly forward at the horizon. Bring your right foot down. Take your left leg up. And notice, what's the sensation here? Are you feeling, the muscles toning or strengthening through your thighs, your hips, your buttocks? Maybe you can lift your chest a little bit higher. Julie, up. And then bring your left foot down, breathe out, and if you can, you'll take both legs up. And not forcing, but take your tailbone down as you take your legs up a little bit higher. Now maybe lift your chest up a little bit higher on a big breath in. Awesome. And then slowly you come down. Press one hand, set one hand on top of the other hand. And then rest your forehead on your hands here for a moment. So really just let go of any holding. Notice the warmth in your body, just a warmth, the heat that is relaxing in a positive way. Now we'll take bow. So bend your right knee and come up onto your left forearm. So your left forearm will just run across the front edge of your mat. Catch your right foot with your right hand. And in bow, you're actually creating like a bow in the back leg and the shoulder and arm. So begin to press your right foot back and let the leg go up to the sky. And let the right shoulder really stretch into a nice release here. Good. And a little more extension, expression. And then gently come down and reverse your arms. Now fold the right arm over the front edge of your mat. Catch your left foot. Stay in your breathing here. So we're linking poses, but we're also in a breathing practice. As you begin to press the leg back and up, you'll notice you're going into a new level of stretch, a new level of intensity, but you want to bring breath. Bring the connection of breath, movement, body. Come a little bit more into your fullest expression without straining. And then gently you come down. Then breathe here for a moment, and we'll come up into downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog in preparation for camel, half camel. So step your right foot forward, bring your back knee down to the mat, and then you'll bring your hands to the top of your front thigh. Now just check in for a moment. You want your front knee over the ankle. You want your back hip over the knee. So both legs are like at a 90-degree angle. Right, you want to be up pretty high here. Now bring your left hand to your left heel. Bring your left hand to your left heel, and you could use a block, like John's using a block here. It's awesome. you can take your right arm up to the sky and you begin to move backwards. You're taking your pelvis forward a bit and you're taking your chest up a lot. Upper hand really active, breathing active. Then bring your upper hand to your front thigh and come up slowly to downward facing dog. Again, downward facing dog. Now you're breathing here, deep breathing, and take a deep breath out. Empty your lungs out. Step your left foot forward for half camel again on this side. Back knee down. Bring your hands to the top of the leg, to lifting your chest into a nice integrity through the spine. Then begin to take your right hand to your right heel. You could tuck your back toes. That's a modification. Using a block is a wonderful way of taking this asana, this pose. Begin to open upward and then backward. Not forcing, but the upward and then backward into just a whole new kind of sensation. And then bring your upper hand to your front knee and then gently to downward facing dog. You go. Stay in your breathing here, deep, deep breathing. Then walk your feet up your mat toward your hands. Walk your feet up toward the front of your mat and bring your knees down. And we're going to lift our feet up off the floor. Cross your ankles, roll over your feet. Or you may want to just kind of drop your hips sideways and get over onto your back. And notice the floor should feel wonderful here. Notice the floor beneath you, supporting you, bringing your feet flat to the mat. Feet flat for bridge pose. Feet flat at hip width. Feet flat at hip width. Walk your feet in toward your hips, your ankles under your knees, your heels under your knees. Scoop your tailbone forward and lift your hips up to the sky. Walk your feet in a little bit more, John. That's it. Tailbone to the sky. Deep, deep breathing. You could take a block and set the block underneath your pelvis if that works better for you. And then bring your tailbone down to the floor here. Bring your tailbone down to the floor. Take a deep breath out here. On the in-breath, lift your hips up to the sky again. Lift your hips up here. Now stay with me here. Bend your elbows and bring your shoulder blades toward each other a little bit. Okay, now bring your hands back either to wheel pose or hands back to the floor. You'll come to the crown of your head. Come to the very crown if you're taking wheel, and stop at the crown for a moment and bring your hands wide toward the outer edges of your mat. Important is to take your shoulder blades toward your back, then you can lift up. You can lift up, you can go up, eyes open. Deep breathing. That's awesome, John. Toes to the floor, though, and then come down slow. Good work. Good work. And breathe. Deep breathing. Bring your knees up into your chest. Knees up into your chest. Give your knees a squeeze. Just feel a nice release through your lower back, maybe your mid-back. You can move around in a way that just feels like you're massaging your back. Then open your arms outward like wings, and you'll just, a simple twist. You'll take your legs to the right side. Take your legs over to the right. You could bring your left ear toward the floor. So you're looking into the opposite direction of your knees. And then come back to center. And take your legs to the other side. Take your gaze to the opposite side. Let this be a release. A relief, a removing of stress, a beautiful counter movement, and then come back to center. And again, give your knees a squeeze into your chest. And then cradle your head with your hands, and you'll bring your heels up to knee level, and you want your knees over your hips. Lift your head and shoulders off of the floor, and then straighten your right leg. You could lift the leg up toward the sky. You could extend it forward, just working in a way where your spine, your back feels supported in this. Then change your legs. Reverse your legs. And breathe here. Breathing. Make energy in your toes. And then reverse your legs and twist this time. Opposite arm to opposite knee. And then twist for 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Take your legs to the sky. You can bring your head to the floor, hips on the floor, and just rest here for one moment and deep breathing. Deep breathing. Bring your knees into your chest, squeeze your knees, and then rock and rolls, up and back. You rock up and back, up and back. And then you'll come into boat pose with your hands behind you into the floor. So you could come onto your fingertips, lift your heels up to knee level. You could straighten through the legs, but maybe start slow. And with the knees bent, lifting your feet to a healthy degree. And lifting your chest. Lift your chest, your shoulders back, chest opening into a stretch as well as strengthening your core, extending through the legs. Now, simple movement. Bend your knees and bring your feet flat. Then cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Good. Now, simple movement. Walk your hands in a little bit to bring your chest toward your upper leg. And then breathe here. Again, make energy in your toes. You see this as a consistent principle in the practice of energizing the sleepy parts. Then lift your hips to the sky, tailbone to the sky. Awesome. Take your hips really high, up, 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 up. And then gently come down, hips down to the floor, and reverse your legs. Bring your right foot down, cross your left ankle just to the outside of your right thigh. You can walk your hands in again a little bit, and you're really looking to just take the shoulders back and the chest up. Shoulders back, chest up. You can look forward at the horizon. You can increase the intensity of the stretch. You know, maybe you're feeling this through the left hamstring or the left hip. Whatever you're getting here is probably good as long as it's not pain. You know, if you feel pain, back off, modify it, work with a new approach. Then take your hips up to the sky. Hips up to the sky. Take your hips really high up, hips higher, a little higher until this feels good or feels great, and then come down slowly to the floor. Then bend both knees up into your chest, and you can rock back onto your back. And squeeze your knees, and then bring your feet flat to the mat. Feet flat, cross your right ankle over the left thigh, again for thread the needle. So you'll bring your knees up into your chest, reach your arms through the legs, or lace your hands around the shin bone, or you can hold your hamstring, just hug the legs in. You can keep your head on the floor. And now come into your breathing here, deep breathing. Again, you can relax every muscle in your face and let this be relaxing, let this be empowering, let this be effective. So you're using the movement, you're working into the pose, and then gently change legs. Reverse, you could bring the foot down if you like, cross the opposite ankle, bring the knees in, reach through the leg, interlace your hands around the shin or the hamstring, head on the floor. You're really in your breathing here now. Deep, deep breathing. Squeezing the legs in. And then release down. Release your right foot down, both feet down. Now take your block. We're going to take an inversion. So you're going to bring your block under your hips. Now if you're near a beam or a wall, you can just slide your hips right up into the wall and take your legs up. I would bring your hips up into the wall, take your legs up the wall, then you'll take your block and bring it underneath your pelvis. You'll lift your hips up. And then, you bring your knees up into your chest, straighten your legs up to the sky. And let this be very relaxing. So really here, you're just wanting the flow, the circulation to reverse from what it usually does. So you're just letting the legs hang out up in the air, and the circulation starts moving down through the pelvis, through the chest, through the skull, into the brain, and just relaxing here and allowing gravity to do its own kind of magic. Then very slowly bend your knees into your chest, and you can remove the block, and you'll roll to your right side into a fetal position, just curling up, bringing your head toward your knees toward your head, just curling up here. And just you can let your head relax. You can close your eyes if you like. Just come into the soothing quality of this pose. Now, very gently from this same side, let's come up to a seated position. So you could press your left hand down, coming up into a seated position that feels alert, that feels relaxed, that feels supported. If you need to sit on a block, you could do this. And then as you sit here for a moment, bring your hands to your chest, fold your hands into what we call namaste, and take a moment, maybe close your eyes, and take a moment to just acknowledge who you are, who you've been for yourself today, that you've given yourself a gift. You've completed this practice. You're developing your muscles and a new set of muscles, and you're training yourself. You've given to yourself in a way that is expanding who you are for yourself, for your life, for your well-being. So just really acknowledging you've given yourself this opportunity. And you can open your eyes, and we'll take a deep breath in, and namaste. Awesome work, you guys. Really great work. Awesome. Really good. You guys rock, worked hard. You got the yoga glow.